So a little story about ARC. Yesterday at the WORK, before I started my shift, there was a little bit of a party happening. So I went in there, and it's hard to sort of enter a party late because everyone's got like, the conversation, the momentum of the conversation has already started. First person I see is my manager. She looks over at me, and I give like a little bit of a nod. It's just a little fast forward here. I kind of budge things up with a little bit of a coffee comment. Anyways, so as the party goes on, I start talking to one of the guys that are closer to my age, right? We're talking about gaming. I'm telling him like, I have a sim racing setup. I don't know how the conversation sped up so fast to gaming and why we're even talking about gaming. There's a couple guys. One more. He's talking about like game that he's played, and he's saying it's like the game of the year. He can't remember the name, and I'm like, well, one of the game that I heard about a lot of streamers are talking about is called Ark, and he's like, yeah, that's it. And he's telling me like how he's just getting into Ark. So that's what I'm talking about. Like Ark is coming up in real conversations. It's on the internet, so I'm thinking about getting into it. But if you guys want to hear the story about my manager and my coffee talk, it looks like I forgot what I said, but I made inference to her coughing slightly, right? And I said, "Oh, why don't you take a water?" And she's like, "Oh, I breathed in some coffee," and I'm standing there drinking a coffee, and I'm like, "Oh no, is this some kind of like high talk? Like I don't know what's going on." And she's like, she cut the coffee out, and like everyone, like there's people around are listening, right? I felt a little strange, but I owned up to it, guys. I owned up to it. I said, I like coffee. I support coffee. And then she starts talking about tea, and yeah, that's how I fudge things up with my manager. So we're gonna see how things go forward. Usually we're good correspondents, but we'll see. How opinions people can change things, right? So